Key stakeholders in the 2023 general elections agree with the Inter-Party Advisory Council and the Independent National Electoral Commission on measures to discourage electoral malpractices and let votes count. Candidates urge election managers and stakeholders count the days to D-Day. Within the parties, efforts to mend fences meeting a brick wall, no pun intended. On some platforms, while on others, new friendships and alliances are springing up. The question is, are these new fronts forged on shared ideologies or just a union of the aggrieved? Also, on Political Update today, we will track the activities of candidates and get a candid view of close watchers of the political space. I am Fisai Ogunfui. Welcome. We start today's program from the judiciary, and election adjudication is taking center stage. Judicial officers who will be handling post-election matters are in Abuja to prepare ahead of the vital task. This is to avoid conflicting judgments and ensure that verdicts are in line with the law.
I will tell you that this is a weighty undertaking you have just signed before the Almighty God. I am saying this because as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, I will not condone any act of recklessness, abuse of power, and public trust. This is a rare privilege, and your lordships must give a good account of yourselves.
You must resist all and any form of pressure and influence, as well as gratification that may come your way.
The new Electoral Act confers exclusive jurisdiction to hear pre-election cases on the Federal High Court with regard to candidate nomination in order to reduce forum shopping by litigants, abuse of court process, and reduction in the spate of conflicting judgments by courts of coordinate jurisdiction.
The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, says it is on the same page with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and all patriotic citizens who are working towards a general election in which votes will count. IPAC National Chairman Yaba Gisani expressed the Council's position in Abuja.
With electioneering campaigns and consultations ongoing by the various political parties to sway electorate ahead of the 2023 general elections, breaches of the laws are considered inimical to the process.
We're looking for an issue-based campaign with high level of decency. Not for anything, because Nigeria is looked up to as a leader, not only on the continent of Africa, but all over the world.
The nation's security agencies and other relevant bodies are expected to gear up in the performance of their statutory responsibilities professionally and objectively.
The question we are asking is, as you prepare for the election, for voting, how do you prepare to deal with political criminals who will manipulate the process?
Stakeholders insist no stone will be left unturned in tracking and bringing to justice the perpetrators of recent incidents of politically motivated violence, vote trading, and ballot box snatching, as witnessed in recent elections in Nigeria.
As the clock ticks towards the 2023 general election, the African Democratic Congress presidential candidate Dumebi Kachikwu has rolled out his campaign. The first of the nationwide move started in Abuja.
Expressing his readiness to work and lead his party to victory in the 2023 presidential elections, Kachikwu says running for the highest office in the land is not a decision he made on the spur of the moment, but one that has been defined by the very essence of his life.
I will do everything to engineer or activate or reignite our economy. We must rescue Nigeria. A rescue mission is not the mission of one hero. We must all be heroes in our personal spaces. So the aggregation of all our efforts will deliver our country. I will be the president who is comfortable telling the Nigerian people on a daily basis that he loves them.
He challenges the citizens to define their common character as Nigerians and constitute a new nation.
The sanctity and dignity of life will be restored under my watch. We must not let our basic decency as human beings be eroded. Our precious women will join us on the table of equality.
Kachukwu plans to hold town hall meetings across the nation as he advocates peace, unity in the country, irrespective of religious or geographical differences.
The All Progressives Presidential Campaign Council Youth Wing has inaugurated its North Central body to organize, mobilize, and ensure victory for the party in next year's election.
The inauguration of this high-level youth campaign body signaled the beginning of the rigorous task that lies ahead of North Central Youth for the Tinubu Shetima's ticket. The message here is simple and the areas to cover are familiar. These are the words of the Director of Youth Mobilization, North Central APC Presidential Campaign Council.
The North Central happens to be, I think, the third largest geopolitical zone in Nigeria. It has a very teeming youthful population, a population that is willing to go out there and vote for someone who understands the need to do what? Have youth key into what? The climate change agenda. That is the next biggest economy. We have a president who understands cryptocurrency, understands that we are in a nanotechnology age. So what else do you want again? So the charge is very simple. Go out there, get out the votes for our principal and have him emerge as president in 2023.
He says the North Central APC youth organizations are awake to their political responsibilities of ensuring that only a candidate with vast experience and capacity is given support, and Tinubu is the man to beat.
All right, to the discussion. Now joining us now is the National Youth Spokesman of the Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council, Ali Audu. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So many, committees, councils, and all. How do you harmonize?
There's synergy within the team. The size of the party is quite enormous. We're about we are the largest party in Africa, and as it is, there is need to carry everybody along and ensure that there's enough room for everybody to play his or her own part in ensuring not just to deliver success or victory at the polls, but equally to enlighten our Nigerians, especially the young people, on the journey so far for our country, where a lot could have been done, what has been done, and what needs to be done, and how we are going to do it, and what their role should be in working together with the party in government and the government when it's formed to build a Nigeria that every one of us will be proud of.
All right, we're hearing so many, different appointments, not only on your platform, in different political parties as well. The question for the youths and the agitations continue in different, fora. You have just been appointed as the spokesperson for the youth wing of the presidential campaign of your party. But like people will say, in political say, is this something for the boys, or is there, a modus operandi of, where you're pushing the discourse to?
Yes, if you followed the young people in the party for a few years now, we've always pushed our leaders within the party. We've always agitated, because as the young, progressives, we are primarily young Nigerians who understand the concern of the average Nigeria. Nigeria is a very young country in terms of population. We have about 80-something% being of young people, less than 50. That's a very young population, which was an advantage during the global pandemic. You understand that most of the countries with older population felt it more than the younger population. It holds a lot of promises for the country and for the continent.
You're talking about maybe about 60% youth, or what's the statistic?
Way more than 60%. Way more than 60%. Okay. Of the 96 registered voters, about 84 million are
okay, you're talking about voters below. Now, not citizens. Yeah. Okay. So all right, go ahead.
On our population, I think about 130 million are between the age of 35 and 15 and 35. So it's a very youthful population we have in Nigeria, and not just population. We have young people who are very talented, who are tenacious, who are able. Young people across the world from Nigeria are holding their heads up and flying the flag. Is it in athletics, in sport, in music, in medicine, in technology, in finances? Young Nigerians are doing well globally. So what we need is, which is what we have always pushed for within the party, is to get the government to understand that there is need to stop the continuous alienation of the young people, which is the root of all of the agitation from the young people, involve them in governance, involve them in leadership position in politics, let them know their responsibility, give them tasks, let them be a part of building the future. If they are going to be the leaders of tomorrow, they have to start learning. They need to learn how to hold the baton when it's been handed over to them, which is what our presidential candidate has just done. In his manifesto, he stated clearly that he understands the agitation from the young population of Nigeria. He knows that there's a lot of alienation. He actually stated in his manifesto that he does not believe that the young Nigerians have been given a fair enough deal over the years. And what he's promising shows that clearly he intends to do things differently. He is promising 9 positions for people between the age of 18 and 49. 9 cabinet position, and he's saying he's going to give 20% of MDA's appointment to young, competent, and willing and deserving young people under 40 in the country. That's a lot of promises, from the education for primary to tertiary education to arts, culture, sports. He has a robust plan to show that the future holds a lot of promises for young Nigerians, and we just need to key into it. We need to make our mind ready as young people. We need to, let go of all of our anger, all of our disappointment in the past. The country is still ours. We can't burn down a country that's ours. I mean, there's this joy that the average Nigerian, feels, and whenever you see, it doesn't matter who puts on the national team jersey. It doesn't matter who is running on track with green, white, green. It doesn't matter who is singing in Global Stadium in Nigerian colors. We young Nigerians are generally always excited about the brand Nigeria. So it's about time, we give them the role to play a part in understanding that they are actually critical, to the future of the country, and let them be a part of it. And that's everything Bola Ahmed Tinubu has stated in his manifesto. And he has shown clearly that he's willing to get a better deal for the young people. So we just need to do our part by coming to the table and ensuring we take what is meant for us.
All right, so a lot of people will say, let's give it time, because there's concept, of course, there's also actuality. But, many youths are speaking rather vociferously in the social media about the destination of state. Being a youth council wing, spokesperson, is that an environment you want to engage?
Yes, while I understand that we've been shortchanged as young people in the country over the decades, there's another part about a lot of uninformed and misguided young people. We are going through difficult time as a nation. The entire world is going through that as we speak. But
some are having it harder than others.
Exactly, because we've had years in the past where we have wasted resources that should have been used to prepare for dry seasons like this. We remember clearly in 2012, 2013, when the then Minister of Finance and the CBN governor kept shouting that we're making so much money from oil, we're not saving for the future, that they are afraid of what tomorrow is going to bring. I mean, if anything comes like we've had in the past, if we're not prepared enough, then it's going to be tough for us in the dry season. And that's exactly what we've been through. But we are most, grateful to the current leadership of the country under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari for his frugality and his honesty in managing the affairs. There are a lot of areas that many of us believe things could have been done better, but we can confidently say we can give him a pass mark of 70 because of what he's been able to do with so little. I was discussing with some young people, in a forum yesterday, and I made them understand that between 2015 to 2021, end of financial year, the government earned over just about $251 billion from oil, our mainstay. When you look at between 2010 and 2012, nearly 300 billion was earned in 3 years.
It's just 3 years. Okay.
So, and when you look at all of the things that the President Muhammad Buhari has been able to do in terms of policy reforms, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of engaging young people and creating jobs and ensuring that we have some semblance of what's it called, agricultural development, building on what he met on ground and ensuring that we blow up our agricultural capacity. It shows that the infrastructure upon which the young people's jobs, the young people wealth creation will be built on needs to be created. We should have been done years ago. However, it is being done now. We need to just understand more, be more involved, and seek other means of engaging the government. in Tinubu's manifesto, he did mention something about having biannual presidential youth engagement, where young people selected from different field of play, different sector, different geographical zone, come and have interaction with the administration, with the president himself, on performance of the administration, policies, and bear out their own mind on where they think things should be done differently, especially when it concerns youth. And we know he has done something similar. He was the one who introduced a governor a day project for young people, which he used to bring in young people when he was governor of Lagos to act as governor for the whole day, exposing them to what's it called?
Administrative processes.
So these are things. It is easy for us to believe what he's going to do because he's done a lot similar in the past, where he had the capacity, where he had the position as a governor, an executive governor of a state to do it. So we look at what he's done and we look at what he's promised, and there seems to be some sort of connection, and we are able to say confidently that this man is going to do what he said. And we are saying, as young people, let's look at this as another opportunity to work together to rebuild the Nigeria of our dreams.
All right, moving on to some other stories before we come for the last line. In a combination of hope and faith, Osun State Governor Gboyega Oyetola says he has not given up on getting a second term in office. The governor visited the APC National Secretariat, promising to mobilize massive support for the Tinubu-Shettima ticket. Roll.
I have faith in Almighty God.
Thank you.
I will reclaim my mandate. Osun has always been a state for the progressive, so there's nothing to worry about. I can assure you, we'll deliver no less than 1 million votes for Asiwaju.
Chieftains of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, led by its national chairman, Senator Yocha Ayu, were in Bauchi for consultations with the state governor, Bala Mohammed.
Who told you are here?
Attended by the Director General of the PDP's Presidential Campaign Council, Governor Aminu Tambol of Sokoto State, former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, as well as the host, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, and his deputy, Baba Taylor. The meeting lasted for about 1.5 hours, after which they emerged.
To brief you on some of the developments that are going on in the party nationally, and to seek your wise counsel, because you are not just the governor of Bauchi, you are a leader in this country, very experienced.
They came with issues regarding some gray areas that we crossed the T's and dotted the I's as part of closing rank discussion issue.
He added that the choice of Bauchi for the meeting was as the result of his position as vice chairman of the party's campaign council in the north.
Meanwhile, former spokesman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Dayo Adeyeye, says the inability of leaders of the People's Democratic Party to resolve the internal crisis rocking the party this close to the electioneering period is not a good omen for the party.
Schism between the leaders is not the making of the APC. It's their own internal affairs. It's a problem they caused by themselves, which they are unable to resolve. And it shows that if you are unable to resolve an internal matter like this, it shows you cannot, with Nigeria, God forbid Nigeria should enter into serious conflict. The leadership of PDP will not be able to resolve those matters. So, when we are watching and we are looking at how the PDP are fighting themselves to a bitter standstill, and we hope that Nigerians are watching and knowing that this kind of people who are riddled with conflict, who are unable to settle simple issues, cannot be entrusted with the affairs of Nigeria. They can't manage Nigeria. They can't run the affair of this complex nation successfully. And so we hope that to that extent, that gives us some little advantage, because at least enables Nigerians to be able to judge between those who are really capable of managing complex issues and those who are proving themselves totally incapable of resolving very minor, simple matter. So that is the advantage I see in it.
Some of the same politicians, but we would continue, of course, before we go on the last line of the program, talking about youth empowerment and plans for the future, without being partisan. Would you say the youths have gotten a fair deal as in this Fourth Republic so far, in terms of the, the contributions given, the access given, the opportunities given?
No, not at all. I mean, I wouldn't even say that. You remember clearly during the NSAS protests across the country, the young people in the party came out together. We had a press conference and we addressed the Nigerian young people. And we acknowledge that, police brutality, profiling, and all the other excesses of law enforcement agencies and other challenges that the young people have faced over the years were real. However, at a certain point when there was a sign of seriousness and commitment, honestly, from the government to say, okay, we are going to address this issue. We spoke with our fellow young people that we should change strategy in the sense that, the protests, it's what we grew up into as young people. Is it the ASU? Is it the Labour Congress? Is it any of those associations? Is it the student union? We have always used protest as a tool for negotiation. It hasn't worked. Till date, it hasn't worked. ASU has gone on strike with every government since I was a child to date. It's not likely that that all of the governments have had the same mindset. We have changed government, we've had military, we've had democratically elected president on different political ideologies, if any. But it's about time we as young people, if we are really worth our salt, if we are really as enlightened, as exposed, that we are able to sit in our comfort zone and learn about global happenings and learn from it. That's the advantage we have over the older generation, thanks to technology and innovation and social media. So what we should be able to do is to devise means of addressing these issues without going through ways that we have tried and hasn't worked. I mean, it's only people who don't want to be successful that keep trying the same thing the same way and expecting different results. So
what would you do?
So what we are saying is exactly what we've done. Get involved in politics. Under the leadership of Ismail Ahmed, as far back as 2013, he organized many young people in the progressive wing of the party, of the APC, and made us understand. We had a meeting with Asiwaju Bola, who happened to be our presidential candidate as at 2013, 2014. We had a meeting with Mr. President at the time, who urged us and encouraged us that the future is for you people. You guys have to be involved. Asiwaju particularly said, there is no taking this country to anywhere without you people, but you don't have to be absent when the decision is going to be made. So what we have done since then till date is to stay the course, be patriotic, follow the processes, ensure that we engage these people going by the rules. You saw with the APC rebate with different group movement within the party in the last few years, when we were uncomfortable with the leadership of the party, we came out and said, as young Nigerians who are in the party, we are not comfortable with the way we are managing our affairs. We want a party that manages its affairs going by its own rules and regulations, so that we can show the country that we can govern going by the rules and regulations of the country. And successfully, we're able to get the interim leadership to vacate the office and conduct convention, and that ushered in newly elected administrators of the party. We went on to conduct our presidential election in ways that everybody respect. There was fairness, there was justice. It was a level playing field for everyone. So most of the problem we have, that most political parties have, is the fact that the leaders especially are not ready to play by their own rules. The moment we are ready to play by the rules we have set, if we can't be governed by our own rules, how do we expect Nigerians to trust us to govern them by the constitution of the country? Which is what the young people in the party have been able to mount pressure within the allowable realm of politics on our leaders, and we are better for it right now. You're looking at the manifesto of
Ali, you are a spokesperson. You have spoken. Thank you very much. And of course, that's how much we can take. Time is not our friend. Ali Audu is the spokesperson of youth wing of the Tinubu Shetima Ticket Campaign Council. We thank you for coming. For you for watching. Don't forget that it is a political season. Play your policies for the greater good, and keep on watching the Nigerian Television Authority, America's finest and largest for news reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye bye now.